Hi, this is David McCann for WebTNG. In this video, we're looking at WordPress growth and page builder growth. We now have a new resource to help us track the market share of popular page builders. W3Techs, a popular site that tracks web technology usage, now tracks subcategories for WordPress, giving us some insights into popular plugin usage. This video takes a look at the page builders they're reporting on to see how they're doing, and at the end of the video, have some discussion and conclusions about what the stats show and about the stats themselves. In this year's State of the Word address, Matt Mullenweg reported that a year ago WordPress powered 39.1% of the web, and now it has a 43.1% market share. 4% growth is huge. This is awesome news for WordPress, and the stats get a lot of attention. However, there are some other WordPress growth stories that are worth following. W3Techs, which is the source for these stats, now has started tracking subcategories within WordPress so we can see the market share of some of the popular WordPress plugins. Now, a note about the W3Techs stats is they're based on the top 10 million websites according to Alexa and the 1 million websites according to Tranco. And there's some other details here about what sites they include or don't include. For example, they don't include subdomains. So in addition to WooCommerce, we see some popular page builders listed: Elementor, WP Bakery, Beaver Builder, Visual Composer, and Oxygen. Starting with Elementor, we can see that it is used on 6.8% of all websites, so that's huge. Now within WordPress, Elementor is used on 15.9% of the sites. And an interesting chart is the historical trend, which shows Elementor started around 3.9% 11 months ago in February 2021, and is now at about 6.9% in the middle of December. So this is big growth for Elementor, about 3 full percentage points. In fact, Elementor is growing so quickly that Yoast wrote a blog post about it and wondered if Elementor is helping to drive WordPress growth. This question is based on this chart here where the blue is WordPress, the red is Elementor, and the green is WordPress without Elementor. And you can see that overall the ups and downs track together. Let's move on now to WP Bakery. It's used on 6.6% of all websites, and within WordPress it's used on 15.4% of sites. However, while Elementor is still growing, WP Bakery appears to have leveled out. Moving on down the list, Beaver Builder is used on 1% of WordPress websites. And if we look at the historical trend, we see that it's enjoying steady growth. Next, we look at Visual Composer. We can see that this is on 0.1% of all websites and about 0.2% of all WordPress websites. And I guess that number is significant because of the very large number of WordPress websites. And we can see that Visual Composer is also enjoying steady growth. Finally, in the list is Oxygen. It has the same stats as Visual Composer, 0.1% of all websites and 0.2% of WordPress websites. Interesting to note the positive trajectory of Oxygen's growth, which is very consistent. Okay, so I've run through the page builders in the W3Techs WordPress subcategory list. Now let's have some discussion and see what conclusions or questions we come up with. I'll admit that I was surprised that WP Bakery had such a large market share, pretty close to Elementor's. WP Bakery was formerly called Visual Composer, and it's been around for a long time but seems to have fallen out of favor. It's bundled with a lot of themes on ThemeForest, so perhaps these stats are the result of the popularity of the ThemeForest marketplace. I was also surprised to see Visual Composer in the list. You don't hear much about the new Visual Composer, so I wonder where those numbers are coming from. Visual Composer has gone through some name changes. The original Visual Composer was renamed to WP Bakery, and its market share is talked about above. Then a new page builder was released, and the name Visual Composer was recycled. For our purposes, I'm calling it the new Visual Composer. So an interesting question would be if these stats are all about the new Visual Composer, or if they might include some old Visual Composer sites that were never updated to WP Bakery. In any event, there is some active growth, and we can assume that the new sites are running the new Visual Composer. Now, what I was expecting to see, and we didn't see, is to have Divi included in the list. Divi has been around for a long time, and indications are that there are a good number of active installs. However, since Divi is a premium-only option, usage counts aren't public and they're unknown. However, another page builder not found in the list is Brizy, and active installs are known for this page builder. Brizy is one of those plugins like Elementor that has a free core and then a premium add-on. You have to have the free version installed. It's not a single plugin. We can see in the WordPress plugin directory that Brizy has 90,000 active installs. Now, an interesting thing is that the new Visual Composer, which is also installed even if using premium features, also has 90,000 active installs, the same as Brizy. So it seems that the W3 Tech list is incomplete, and we should exercise some caution. For example, the fact that Divi and Brizy aren't in the list doesn't necessarily mean they are used on fewer websites than Visual Composer or Oxygen. They are just missing from the list. However, even though it doesn't include all builders, I still think that the W3 Tech list is useful. I think it's safe to assume that the software they are picking up will be tracked consistently over time, so the historical usage trends provide good insights. Speaking of usage trends, Beaver Builder fans will be heartened by its good positive growth. Something to keep in mind with Beaver Builder is that there are very few installs of its light version, meaning that its stats are mainly pro installs. This means that the active growth shown in the Beaver Builder stats are paid subscription installs, and that bodes well for the longevity of this solution. Similarly, Oxygen was another one of the builders that's showing rapid growth. It's interesting to see Oxygen in the list, and I suspect that it's increasingly being used by small agencies and freelancers who are focused on performance. Yoast speculated that Elementor popularity could be helping to fuel the growth of WordPress. I wonder what that could mean. Certainly Elementor has a lot going for it that's helping to drive its growth. I'm not sure that we can say, however, that if Elementor was not around, then fewer people would be using WordPress. Rather, I suspect that the growth of WordPress is benefiting the best builders, as shown by their positive historical stats, and that people who are happy with their chosen builder return to them on build after build. And this means that WordPress and these popular page builders are synergistically helping each other to grow. So this is my look at the stats we have about WordPress page builder growth and the new source of stats. There's a text version of this video available on the WebTNG website, along with other walkthroughs, reviews, and resources. Hope you found this video interesting. Thank you for watching.